Okay, welcome. We need to be clear from the start. This is a very somber explainer. What we're going to do is take a deep look at just a few sentences from our source material, and through them, try to understand the architecture and the lasting impact of one of the greatest crimes in all of human history.
It's interesting. We're actually going to start right where our source material ends, with this single powerful sentence. Think of this as our North Star for this entire discussion. We're going to work backwards from here to really see how such a definitive conclusion was ever reached.
So, Section 1, a crime against history. Let's really treat that statement as our main idea here. And notice the wording, it's so specific. The source doesn't say it was a crime, it says it remains a crime. And to really get the full weight of that, we can't just look at the end result. We have to understand the process. All right, so to really understand that verdict, we've got to understand the mechanism first. Because the true horror, it isn't just in the final numbers, as staggering as they are. It's in the deliberate, systematic design behind it all. Our source material really peels back the layers on this chillingly effective machine. And that brings us to our next section, the architecture of killing. I mean, how do you even build an atrocity? It sounds like an impossible question, right? But the source material lays it all out, step by step, in this really simple but utterly terrifying progression.
It all starts with a place. Just a place. Before it was anything else, it was just a location, a dot on a map. And that's exactly where the source begins, with camps like Auschwitz. It starts with something completely mundane, completely ordinary. Just a physical space.
And then that place is given a purpose. This is the absolute key transformation. You see, the architecture we're talking about, it's not just physical buildings, it's ideological. A simple location is taken and it's repurposed, it's weaponized. The source uses the words became centers. And that word became, wow. It implies this deliberate act, this conscious choice to turn something into something else entirely. So this is the definition, and it's built using the exact words from our source. Let's look at it. A concentration camp is a place, like Auschwitz, that became a center of mass killing. The architecture had one single function. A place becomes a center for one reason: mass killing. It just reveals this cold, almost industrial logic that was at work. Okay, now for our next section, the scale of the loss. So we've looked at the mechanism, the how. Now we have to turn to the result. We have to confront the what. What was the actual outcome of this terrible architecture? The source really forces us to ask this, doesn't it? What was the human cost? If you can really turn a simple place into an efficient center for killing, what is the ultimate consequence of that? The answer? Well, the answer is just devastating in how simple it is. Millions. Just that one word. It just hangs in the air, doesn't it? It's a number so huge, it almost feels abstract, like it's impossible to really grasp. But we have to try. We have to let that sink in. This is the direct results of the architecture we were just talking about. Millions. We have to say it again, because each one of those was a life. Each one had a story, a family, hopes, dreams. The scale it's just beyond comprehension, really. But the source material demands that we don't look away, that we try to comprehend it. And here's the full sentence from the source. It's brutal. Millions were murdered. And again, look at the words, not died, were murdered. That's an active verb. This was the result of a deliberate system, of an architecture designed for this exact purpose. So, our final section, a crime that remains. And this brings us right back to where we started, full circle, to that very first sentence. So why is that phrasing so important? Why does the source insist that this crime remains? Let's just focus on the language for a second. On the left, you have a historical event, a crime that was committed, past tense, done. But on the right, what the source says, a current reality, a crime that remains. Choosing to say remains instead of was, that's a huge deal. It completely reframes it. It's not some static point in a history book. It's presented as a current, ongoing reality, like a wound that just hasn't healed. And that's really the core implication, isn't it? The crime isn't over. Its echoes are still with us. The physical architecture might have been dismantled, but its impact, its shadow, that continues.
A crime that remains is one whose consequences are literally woven into the fabric of our present. We can still hear the echoes today.
And so, this is where we're left with this question. If our source material is right, if this is truly a crime that remains, then it poses this incredibly profound question. And it's not just a question for historians, it's a question for every single one of us, right here, right now. How do we carry the weight of a crime that never ends?